Students, welcome to the DSP, that is Digital Signal Processing. Today we are discussing some of the numericals based on the Z transform. So let's see the first numerical. So here the numerical is specified with the calculation of the Z transform. So determine the Z transform of the signal. X of n is equal to alpha raised to n u of n plus b raised to n u of minus n minus 1. So from this example it is quite clear that we are in a addition to two sequences. One is alpha raised to n u of n, which is right sided sequence, and second is left sided sequence. So result of addition of these two sequences will decide what exactly the resultant ROC. So for the case, let's say when the alpha is greater than b, so when alpha is greater than b, this is what the case. So when alpha is greater than b, we can just calculate the Z transform for this first case, that is mod Z greater than alpha. So if alpha is nothing but, let's say this is the value, so radius of the circle with the value of alpha is plotted here. So once it is plotted, the outer part for this is just mentioned over here, that is ROC. So when this is what the ROC, it is nothing but the outer part of this particular circle. So it is just plotted like this because it is the right sided sequence. Now the next part, which is well understood from this particular example, if b is smaller than alpha, then what is the case? So this is what the circle with radius b is taken here. So the plotting of the same circle is done over here. This time, since it is the left sided sequence, the ROC will be inside the circle of radius b. So that is why this ROC is concentrated inside the circle with radius b. So once this is done, the ring is obtained, but this ring is not the ROC which we expect. So that is why, to conclude this entire session for this Z transform, when the alpha is greater than b, we can say x of z does not exist. Now what about the next conditions? When alpha is less than b, yes, obviously when the alpha is less than b, we can get the Z transform in this particular manner. So that is what alpha, this is what the value of alpha, this is what the value of b. So when alpha is less than b, obviously we will get the contrast pattern to that of this left part, and here we can say the ROC of x of z is this particular shaded portion, and it does exist. So this is how it can be easily concluded as in the next slide, that how the ROC will be resulting for the second case. Obviously it is what we need to go. So when alpha is nothing but actually the value which we interested, that is alpha is less than b, so when it is there, then only we can calculate the Z transform. So when it is the case, the ROC lying in between the a alpha and b, so that is why, to summarize, this is what the ROC. Now let's proceed for the next slide. In this next slide we will get the flavor of cosine term is multiplied with the u of n, and how to get the Z transform for this cosine of the sine multiplied by the u of n. So that can be easily obtained with the help of the Euler's identity. Cos omega 0 can be written as a 1 upon 2 e raised to j omega 0 n plus 1 by 2 e raised to minus j omega 0 n. So that is simply splitted over here. So once it is done, just take the individual Z transform for this entire addition. So 1 by 2 Z transform of e raised to j omega 0 n u of n plus Z transform of 1 by 2 Z transform of e raised to minus j omega 0 n u of n. So once we got this, let's separate out the term so as to get the Z transform. So what is it? Alpha here is nothing but the e raised to j plus or minus j omega 0. It means the mod of alpha is nothing but e raised to plus or minus j omega 0 and its mod. So it will result in the value that is 1. So that is why mod z is greater than 1 when e raised to positive power of j omega 0. When e raised to minus j omega 0, again it is mod z greater than 1 because we are dealing up with the mod of the alpha. So the z transform for both the cases is same, that is 1 upon 1 minus e raised to plus j omega 0 z inverse, and in the second case it is 1 upon 1 minus e raised to minus j omega 0 z inverse. So here simply we applied the property a raised to n u of n. So this is how the resultant z transform once we put all these values. Now let's see, when we apply certain numerical solutions, or rather let's say some of the manipulations on this e raised to j omega 0 term, then it will result in the z transform like this, means 1 minus z inverse cos omega 0 divided by 1 minus 2z inverse cos omega 0 plus z raised to minus 2, and obviously the ROC will be mod z greater than 1. Now let's see the Euler's identity application for the second case. When we apply it for the second case, let's say for sine omega 0 n un, then it will result in this particular quantity. So again mod z is greater than 1. Now let's concentrate on the next example. In this next example, the same kind of pattern is simply multiplied by the scalar quantity, that is nothing but a raised to n, and this rest of the term is same. So just apply the scalar property of z transform, where a raised to n x of n will be resulting in the z transform as a x of z by a, or x of a inverse z. So the same property is applied over here and it is resulting in this particular output. Similarly for the second case, this is what the output we will get. Let's concentrate for the next example. This next example is concentrating for the z transform to be obtained for the case x of n is equal to n times a raised to n un. If you just concentrate here, you will find that this a raised to n un, its z transform is already known to us. So that is what, let's say it is nothing but x1 of z. But what about the n times x of n? So if I assume that this is nothing but x1 of n and this is nothing but n, so n times x1 of n, for this we do have one of the property, that is nothing but the, we can say, the differentiation property. So this is what the property minus z d by dz of x1 of z. So for this x1 of z is already calculated over here. So see here, this is nothing but x1 of z 1 upon 1 minus a z inverse, or this can be written as a z by z minus a. So for this, once we obtain the x1 of z, take its derivative with respect to the z, and after that multiply it by minus z. So it will result in the quantity that is az inverse by 1 minus az inverse raised to 2, and obviously the mod z greater than mod a, that is what the ROC for this case. And once we set, let's say a equal to 1 in equation, let's say 3.2.15, so for this equation we will be able to find the z transform of the unit ramp signal. So this is nothing but, let's say if a is equal to 1 for this case, so it will be n times u of n. So if it is n times u of n, the z transform will be like this, z inverse by 1 minus z inverse bracket square, and the ROC will be obviously mod z greater than 1. So this is how, by application of the differentiation property, we will be able to calculate the signal which is multiplied by either n or n square, or further with the help of the differentiation property. If it is multiplied by n square, then simply we need to take it like minus z d square by dz square x1 of z. So that is what this differentiation property is. So thank you everyone, thank you very much.